Namaste, Jai Kali, Jai Mahadev, Jai Bharat. I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. Remember, if you're fit and fine, you can take better care of your loved ones. So today I'm going to talk about 8 toxic things that people say. I mean, they might know and then say, or they might not know and then they say. So let us understand what are the 8 toxic things which really hurt people, really hurt to the core. So the first one is, when people say that you're too sensitive, just calm down. See, you really don't know whose sensitivity is of what level, who is, to what level, emotionally fragile. We really don't know. So just labeling them is not a good thing. Labeling them simply, creates a kind of a feeling that belittles them, from inside, and that hurts their confidence. So never, if you see someone in some situation, never, say that, oh, you're so sensitive, just calm down. No. Instead, say things like, oh, you're strong enough, you're gonna sail through. So every word that we speak has an impact on a person's mind. So why not choose and frame the right words that supports and does the purpose? I mean, like, whatever purpose we have in mind, it serves that purpose. I mean, right words, for right situation and for right people. By saying, ignorant things, and by saying toxic things like this, that, oh, you are acting too sensitive, you're very sensitive, it is simply going to, first of all, hurt the self-esteem of that person, and that person would really find you emotionally unavailable, so that in future that person might not open up to you. So if you really want to establish a line of conversation or a bridge between two individuals or two adults, the best thing is not to address by saying, oh, you are so sensitive, and just calm down. Now the second point is, when second toxic thing, the second point of today's discussion is that sometimes people often say, oh, just forget it, whatever. See, we don't know how a situation or experience has impacted a person, an individual. So, I mean, like, by just randomly saying, oh, just forget it, I mean, that sounds very insensitive and again emotionally unavailable. So, the person who is suffering from some kind of anxiety, depression, or situation or trauma, if you just tell them, oh, just forget it, let's move on, just move on. No, it's not easy. Uh, See, these things really sound ignorant, and these things don't help. Instead, these things create more toxicity in any kind of relationship that you're into. The third thing that often people say, which is very toxic, is that, they say, I'm done. You see, in anger sometimes people can say, but I mean, like, on a regular basis, these things really sound very giving up. These things sounds very toxic in a way that it feels very demotivated to the victim or to the person, who has suffered, who has been victimized, or who has been brutalized, or who has been having a very bad experience or going through a bad phase of life. And then, knowing all of that, if you say, oh, I'm done, I mean, it's quite disheartening. I mean, I have gone through this, I have seen people, and it does hurt. So I mean, like, see, the entire objective of communication is to establish a strong bridge and pave path and have a healthy communication and help each other, whether it is relationship, any kind of, whether it's a husband, wife, friends, or whatsoever. So these toxic words, sometimes people even don't even know when they are saying, in rage or in anxiety and anger, people often say. But this entire the objective rather of this video is to educate all of us that knowingly, unknowingly, let's avoid doing mistakes. I mean, that's as simple as that. So I mean, I'm done is not a good thing. I mean, like, don't say it very often. I mean, sometimes it's okay in anger or rage, but if a person is really traumatized, and then if you're saying, oh, I'm done, you're not understanding, you're just not forgetting and moving on, no, it doesn't do the work at all. Now the next one is, when people often say that, oh, I'm sure it's not that bad. I mean, I have seen worst. See, you never know the parameters of worst or the limitation of worst for each individual person. Something might be good for me, but that might not be very good for someone else. Something might be bad for me, but it might be really bad for someone else. So generalizing things and then having a very assumptuous response towards someone who's suffering, and by saying that, oh, I mean, I'm sure it's not that bad. Please, you really don't know what is everyone's threshold limit, how emotionally strong or weak a person is. You really don't know. So don't have those generalized statements. These statement turns out to be very toxic. Oh, it's not that bad. You never know how a person is processing. So try and understand, and don't make such comments, because that will create toxicity, and that person might not open up to you. Instead, they'll go, withdraw back. They won't be, speaking to you in those contexts any further, or they won't be reaching out to you for your help and suggestion. So avoid that. Apart from that, one thing, which is extremely toxic, that often people say, not understanding, is that, when people begin to compare, with others, relative or anything, or close associates, or, spouse. Oh, you are just like your wife. Oh, you are just like your father. Oh, you are just like your friend. Oh, you see, comparison doesn't work. Every individual is very different. They might acquire or pick up some traits or pick up some habits by being in certain surroundings, but no two individuals can be the same. So relating, comparing, and then comparing in a wrong way, that, oh, he's done this, or you are unable to do this, or you're just like them, or you are just worse than them. So I mean, like, these words are really toxic, and this doesn't help. Instead, it spoils things more. So respect every individual's individuality, and that is what makes us unique and special in our own unique way. So there is no point in comparing with close relatives, friends, or associates. Everyone is different, everyone is unique. Habits can be somewhat similar, but no two persons can be same. So stop generalizing. These things don't work in favor, but instead it's really screws up things. The next one is that, oh, you're crazy, all the time, constantly, repetitively. See, there are ways of calling things. Like, even I sometimes speak to my partner and say, oh, you've gone crazy. No, I don't do that. Something which is not fitting me, or something which is not comfortable for me, when he's trying me also to get into it, then I say, oh, no, are you crazy? I don't want to do that. So that expression is very different compared to an expression where you are constantly saying, oh, are you crazy? Are you this? Are you that? So I mean, like, those things really don't help. Those things really don't motivate. It instead breaks you down. You need to understand that one positive word can really change someone's life, and one negative word can also, it is powerful enough to ruin someone's life. So choose your words wisely when you are in relationship. I mean, for outsiders it's okay, however you deal with it, but when in close relationships, try and understand. See, I mean, like, I really don't want to portray a picture which is very good and everything has to be good. See, everywhere there is toxicity, but is it viable to make things go more toxic? No, then life will become a living hell. So the best way forward is to keep imbibing some positivity, so that we can get rid of the toxicity that is there. So yes, I mean, like, don't generalize, and don't just barge people with words like, oh, you're crazy, or you are this, or you are that. I mean, like, that doesn't help. I mean, anger, it's fine. I mean, once in a while it's okay, but regularly labeling, that is not good. Regularly labeling spoils the relationship, and it also weakens the person's self-esteem. So I mean, like, if you can't do anything good, please don't screw up someone else's life. So that is what I have to say. The next point is, you know, uh, when a person is trying to engage in conversation with you, or when the person is trying to talk to you or communicate with you, ignorance and silence, these things are not smart things, you know. I mean, when you are in a relationship, whether it is a friend, it's mother, father, wife, husband, brother, sister, whosoever, ignoring things does not work out. Ignoring things just chokes out everyone, and it chokes the relationship as well. So rather than ignoring, and rather than, you know, just giving that silent treatment, not responding, ignoring, and just being silent about it, no, one should talk and resolve. Talking is the only way forward for any kind of relationship, be it personal, professional, or anything. So I mean, like, you should talk your way out. If you feel like something, then you say. If you do, I mean, and the other ones should also engage and say. See, I mean, like, relationship is an ongoing process between two individuals. If both the individuals don't talk, so I mean, like, where is that relationship going? If there is all ignorance in the relationship, if none of them are concerned, I mean, if one party is not concerned about the other, I mean, like, it's by default a toxic relationship. So we need to, you know, not to go to the extent that we remain silent if someone is discussing something, or we keep ignoring. If someone wants to be heard, you have to hear them out. I mean, that's how relationship works. So now, and the last point is that, you know, words like, you can never do it, you had always been a failure, you know, you always screw things up, you always mess it up. No, I mean, like, see, mistake happens with everyone, and I think I do mistakes, you do mistakes, everyone does mistake. But having these kind of approach, which is like a very rigid, fixated, I mean, that makes the other party feel as if they are worthless. You know, you can never do this, you will never be able to do this. Oh no, I mean, like, you never know what and when a person would do what not. So why to be so assumptuous and, you know, ruin the relationship? So I mean, it really sounds toxic, let me tell you this. The other party, see, often what happens is that our society as it is not very well informed about mental health issues, disorders, personality disorders, and all of these things. So, you know, people don't even know that they are toxic. There are times, I mean, I know a couple of people and a couple of clients that I speak to, and they themselves don't know that they are toxic. And when I start talking to them, then they say that, oh yes, I had been quite a bit toxic. So I mean, like, sometimes people do it intentionally, sometimes people don't even know that they are behaving toxic. So one really needs, see, I mean, like, we have got 2 years to first hear, and we have got a mind to process things, and then later, you know, you can just speak. So hear, process, and then speak, rather than just hearing and speaking. I don't think it's a three-way process, you know. First hear, go process, and then speak, rather than just hearing and speaking. That doesn't work out. So yes, in a relationship, of course, you cannot say things like, oh, you were never able to do this, or you were never able to do that, you had always been a failure, you were worthless, and this and that. No, the relationship is not going to work out like that. I have seen examples whereas in partners say these things to each other, and trust me, it's been 20 years that they're in relationship. I've seen in relationships like parents and to the children, where they are constantly, you know, comparing, and all of those things are happening, and strangely that is a family. So I mean, like, often people really don't know what toxicity is, and they really don't know at all if they are toxic themselves or not. So yes, we need to create a lot of positive awareness about mental health and all of these things. So yes, I mean, like, these are a couple of things that really are toxic and you should avoid. So I mean, like, before I conclude today's video, I would like to repeat it again. First thing is, when you say, oh, you're too sensitive, just calm down, please. You really don't know who is sensitive, who is not sensitive. I mean, how a person feels, you really don't know. So stop generalizing. That sounds stupid and toxic. The second thing is, just forget it, whatever. I mean, like, no. I mean, you never know how things or experiences has impacted a person. How can you say just forget it and move on? You never know that. You were not in their shoes. So don't say that. That's very ignorant and toxic. The third one is, oh, I'm just done with you. No, I mean, like, you can't just be like that. It's quite harsh and rude. And if you want to say things, it's fine, but don't keep on giving up on a regular basis. If you're in a relationship and in each and everything you are like, oh, just I'm done. I mean, that doesn't happen like that. I mean, okay, fighting is an aspect. I do fight as well, but I mean, like, when comes the positive motivational talk, I do that as well. So it's not that I am untouched from anger and rage and anxiety and frustration and depression. No, I mean, like, I go through all those melodramatic episodes in my life as well. But the thing is that we don't have to remain in that state. We can always come out, and we can always fix things, and we can always balance it out. Just remaining in one constant state, that is going to hurt you, that is going to hurt others. The next one is, I'm sure it's not that bad. The next point is when people say, I'm sure it's not. You really don't know, I mean, the severity of how that person is feeling emotionally, mentally. So that's quite ignorant and toxic. The next one is, oh, you're just like your friend, relative, or something like that. No, don't compare. Each individual is different. Everyone is different and unique. Some habits can be similar because they are staying around and picking it up with time, but that doesn't mean that the person is a clone of the other. No two people are the same. So don't have such ignorant, toxic stands, and don't ever say such things. Apart from that, you're crazy, or please, I mean, like, you can say that, oh, you're driving me crazy, you're making me mad. Yeah, but you just can't keep on saying, oh, are you crazy? Are you crazy? Oh, you're crazy. No, this doesn't work out. I use all of these words, but let me tell you, I know where to use, what not to use. Even my spouse uses all these words, but he knows where to use, where not to use. So there has to be a balance. It just can't be that morning I'm hearing I'm crazy, sleeping I'm hearing I'm crazy, and when I'm on deathbed I'm hearing I'm crazy. No, it doesn't work out like that. I mean, like, fine. I mean, like, everything has to be there. You just can't have absolutely rosy red green picture, or you can't have absolutely toxic. So if you want to have a relationship, you need to know what moderation is. And the next one is not saying anything, or the silent treatment. That doesn't work. You need to talk it out. If you don't talk it out, I think that relationship is dead. If there is less talking, ignorance, and people are not talking about the problems, and people are not talking about how they feel in any kind of relationship, whether it is parent, children, whether it is boss and the employee, or brother, sister, or husband, wife, anything. If people are not talking how they feel, if they are unable to express, or if they are not being addressed, so both ways it's horrible. So talk your hearts out, at least to your loved ones. That's very essential. And apart from that, oh, you never, oh, you always like this, oh, you can never do this, or you had always been a failure, or you could never do it. No, please, you never know. I mean, like, time changes, people change with time. So stop having such generalized statements, and just cherish and celebrate each individual's individuality. And that is what makes us human, and that is what humanity is, where each individual are together, as a human race, and they support each other, they help each other, love and care each other. So yes, this is all about 8 toxic things that people say without realizing. Often some of them are wicked. They say it realizing also. They know, and then also they say to hurt. But often people say without realizing. So there are 2 aspects to it. So yes, this was the video, and I hope it helps you guys. And in case if you have something that you would like to add in, you can comment below. Please do like, share, subscribe, and thank you so much. I had been getting lots of mails from all of you, and those mails really help me to create more positive content related to mental health and awareness. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.